This is the most famous love poem ever written in English. But here's the twist, it's not really about love. It's about power, time, and how Shakespeare thought he could make someone immortal. Sonnet 18, full explanation, and by the end of this poem, Shakespeare isn't praising his lover anymore, he's praising himself. Sonnet 18 was written by William Shakespeare around 1609 and is part of a collection known as the Fair Youth Sonnets. These poems are addressed to a young man, not a woman, which already challenges how people usually read it. Shakespeare is writing in the form of a sonnet, 14 lines, written in iambic pentameter, with a strict rhyme scheme. But what makes this poem unforgettable isn't the form. It's the confidence. The poem begins with one of the most famous lines in literature, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?" At first, this sounds like a simple compliment, but Shakespeare immediately rejects the idea. Why? Because summer isn't perfect. Summer can be too hot, too rough, too short. Nature is unstable, and Shakespeare refuses to compare his subject to something that doesn't last. He continues by criticizing summer. Rough winds shake beautiful buds, the sun can be too harsh or hidden, and summer always ends. This is Shakespeare making a bigger point. Everything natural is temporary. Beauty fades. Youth disappears. Time always wins. Or so it seems. Until Shakespeare changes the rules. Halfway through the poem, something important happens, the volta, or shift. Shakespeare writes, "But thy eternal summer shall not fade." This is where the poem stops observing nature and starts making a bold claim. Shakespeare says the young man's beauty will not age. It will not disappear. It will not be touched by time. How? Not through magic. Not through nature. Through poetry. Shakespeare argues that words are stronger than time. As long as the poem is read, the person described in it continues to live. This is a radical idea. He's saying, bodies die, faces fade, but language lasts. And poetry becomes a weapon against death. The poem ends with these iconic lines, "So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee." This is Shakespeare at his most confident. He's not hoping this poem survives. He's stating it as fact. As long as humans exist, this poem will exist. And as long as the poem exists, the young man will live forever. Let's break down the main themes. Time versus beauty. Physical beauty fades. Time destroys all living things. Immortality. True immortality doesn't come from the body. It comes from art. Power of poetry. Poetry can defeat time, death, and decay. Arrogance and confidence. Shakespeare subtly celebrates his own talent. The poem is both a love poem and a flex. This poem is basically the original version of going viral. Shakespeare didn't use social media. He used language. And over 400 years later, we are still proving him right. The lover aged. The poet didn't. Because words last longer than flesh. If this explanation finally made Sonnet 18 make sense, like the video, subscribe, and comment the next poem you want explained. Because great poetry isn't old, it's immortal.